Today I'm ditching the solar panels and I'm going to try powering my entire off-grid workshop with this 4400 watt generator from EFURDEN. We're going to see if it can power a table saw, a shop vac, air conditioning, and more. This generator features 2 standard AC ports, which is what we're going to be using, but it also features one big old 30 amp AC port used for RVs. It's got 3400 running watts, and the best part is it's only about $300. Just a few months ago, I paid $300 for this generator, which is only 1800 watts. So the fact that we're getting almost 3 times the amount of running watts for the same price is pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and hook it up. Right here inside my shed, it's kind of loud, so I'm gonna move it a little bit further away and then come back. Okay, I've relocated to this little pallet on the other side of the fence from my shed, but obviously it's still not very far away. There's the shed, there's the generator, and there's the pile of junk that the previous owner of this property left right here that I have yet to clean up. So let's fire it back up and get ready to do some work. I've got this cool little port thing installed in the side of my shed so that I can plug in an extension cord no problem. So on this end, it's got a male adapter, so I can plug in an extension cord just like this. And you see it comes through the wall, and on the other end, it splits into 2 female adapters. There we go. I got this big old power strip up here with a whole bunch of stuff plugged in. So I plugged that power strip into our little adapter here that's going outside, which means we now have lights. And it's also charging my cordless tool batteries. But we've got a problem. It's hot as balls in here, which is actually the whole reason I started looking into a gas generator in the first place rather than my traditional solar setup. Solar setups like this EcoFlow Delta 2 and my usual solar panels are awesome, and I'm not gonna stop using them anytime soon, but they kind of suck for AC. I picked up this dinosaur on Facebook Marketplace a couple days ago from a woman who may or may not have stolen it from her dead ex-husband. But it's getting to be that time of year where it's super hot out here and AC is really a necessity in a shop like this. However, my solar setup can only run it for about 2 hours. So by the time it actually gets cool in here, I don't have enough power left to do anything in here. So I've got this AC unit hooked up to another 12 gauge extension cord, which I'm gonna plug into the other female end of this adapter we've got. And the moment of truth. Oh yeah. This AC unit smells like a dead person's house, but it is pumping cold air and I only paid 30 bucks for it, so I'm not gonna complain. So now I've got my lights running, I've got my cordless tool batteries charging, and I've got the AC running, which is a lot of stuff, but none of it's drawing a ton of power. That light draws right at 100 watts. The little AC unit is only 5,000 BTU. It draws about 520 watts. And the cordless tool batteries were mostly already charged. So we've only scratched 650, maybe 700 watts out of the 3,400 running watts that generator can provide. So to begin the real test, let's go ahead and plug in my miter saw and make a few cuts. Hey, what's that behind your ear? Is that another 12 gauge extension cord from Harbor Freight? So for these larger items we're about to try that draw a lot of power, like the miter saw, table saw, shop vac, stuff like that, just to completely minimize the risk of a fire hazard, I'm gonna run a thick 12 gauge extension cord straight from the generator to the tool through this window here. Okay, I got my miter saw plugged in, let's cut some stuff. Well, it handled that no problem. There was a very slight flicker of the lights. I can't hear myself. There was a very slight flicker of the lights whenever I first turned on the saw, but it does the same thing with my solar setup, and it even does the same thing plugged into my house. So I don't think that little flicker actually means anything. If you're an electrician and you're watching this, let me know how stupid I am. Also keep in mind, we still have the generator in eco mode. Eco mode kind of seems like a gimmick on these generators at first, but it's actually a really useful little feature. Not only does it give you longer run times because it makes it run more efficiently, but it also makes the generator a little quieter, as I demonstrated earlier. So whenever I'm using a little generator like this that has an eco mode, I try to leave it in eco mode for as much as I can. However, the next thing we're going to try is this table saw, and so I don't know if we're going to be able to leave it in eco mode for that. All right, now for the moment of truth. I've got my table saw plugged into that exact same cord sticking through the window. Let's turn this bad boy on and see what happens. It's always what you want to hear when you're about to turn on a table saw. You know, that's one thing I really love about this table saw is that the off button doesn't work very well. You have to try really, really hard to turn it off, which is great for safety. I think we can officially say that this little generator is a beast, but we're not done. Look at this mess we've got. It's shop vac time. Now, if you're wondering why it's a 4,400 watt generator, but it only has 3,400 running watts, that 4,400 watt number comes in handy for things like these saws. So that's the surge rating, the peak rating, the starting watts. They call it different things, but basically that's for whenever something surges in electricity momentarily. Like these saws, for example, they'll often start at like 2,000 watts or more and then settle down to like 1,500 watts whenever they're actually up and running. And so you've got to have that surge rating to make sure it can handle that initial surge and not just shut down immediately. As long as everything settles down below the 3,400 running watts, you'll be fine. And I'm kind of surprised that we haven't reached the overload point of this generator yet, but keep in mind that it does have built-in overload protection. So if it does go over whatever it's rated for, we'll shut down automatically. So far, it has handled everything I've thrown at it. And for the ultimate test, I want to try powering the table saw and the shop vac at the same time. But before we do that, there are some things you should know about this generator if you're thinking about buying one. So first of all, out of the box, it comes with a funnel, a screwdriver, and a little wrench for the spark plug. It also comes with these little brackets bolted to it that you have to remove before you use it, and it does not come with a wrench for those. I used a 5/16 socket and that fit perfectly. It wasn't hard to remove them or anything, but just something you should keep in mind. It also does not come with oil, so I bought a quart of 0W30 from Walmart. It was like $3, and it didn't even take the whole thing to fill this up. It's a little bit difficult to tell when you have enough oil in there, so you just kind of have to guess and check with the little dipstick and see how much you've got. It does have a 12-volt DC port as well. I haven't mentioned that just because I never use those ports, even though they're included on pretty much everything. And although it is pretty small, it weighs about 56 pounds, so it's not terrible to move around, but it's not something you want to be moving around every day. Another thing to note about this generator that I found strange, but maybe it's not, I don't know. This is the only gas engine I've ever operated where you have to leave the choke on all the time. You know, normally you turn the choke on, you crank it up, and then you turn the choke off. If you leave it on, it floods the engine. But with this generator, you have to leave it on all the time. If you turn it off at all, ever, the thing stops running. Gas engines are not my specialty, so maybe that's normal for some types of gas engines, I don't know. But I've never ran into that before, so I thought I'd point it out. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, it's just something that I found interesting. Hey, so I'm editing this video, and I just got an email back from EFURDEN. I sent them an email and I asked about this, and they said that this choke is not designed to be cut off completely, but you can kind of knock it down here and there as the engine gets warm and runs for a while. You can just kind of decrease the choke. And so I tried that out a little bit just a minute ago, and it kind of works. Obviously, the more you decrease the choke, the more it starts to sputter. It really runs best whenever the choke is all the way on, and I don't really see a downside to doing that since the engine doesn't flood. I guess maybe it uses a little bit more fuel if you have the choke all the way on, but now you know, that's what they said. The instruction manual that comes with it is pretty good. It tells you everything you need to know. You can easily access the air filter. Got a fuel gauge on the top so you can see how much gas you've got in it. And I keep saying it's around $300, but I think last time I checked it was like $330, a little under $330. Plus you could get like a 10% off code on the website. So I don't know, you do the math, it's around $300. Okay, now it's time for the final test we're gonna do. Let's say you're sawing stuff on the table saw and you wanna do a little bit of dust collection while you're sawing. Can you run the table saw and a shop vac at the same time? It handled all that, no problem, and I never even had to take it out of eco mode. So is this gonna be my new go-to gas generator? I think so. My 1800 watt generator is quieter. It's like a super quiet generator, that's the whole thing. And so if I'm only gonna be running like my AC or something small, I'll probably still go for that one. Plus it's a lot lighter, easier to transport because it's got that handle on the top. So in situations when I can get away with only 1800 running watts, I'll probably still go for that smaller one. But in the summer when I'm out here and I need AC and I need to power my saws and my lights and everything like that, this is definitely gonna be my go-to. And I'll ultimately probably end up doing like a mixture of solar and gas. I'm probably still gonna use solar for my lights and my small things, but go with gas for my AC and my saws and things like that. So let me know what you think about this little generator. If you wanna pick one up for yourself, I'll leave a link down in the description. In my next video, I'm going back to solar. I'm gonna greatly improve the capacity of my EcoFlow Delta 2. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.